Hey everyone, welcome back to Jaraci 13. I've been sick for a while, but I'm finally feeling good enough to cast, so we're gonna do it. I'm excited for this. It's gonna be quite a marathon today, I think, so buckle in, I suppose. First match that we're gonna jump into here is from Group A from Jaraci 13. And this was probably played like 2 weeks at least ago, but you know, better late than never, you know what they say. It's gonna be AGameAnx versus Houston. Conef versus Oban, pretty fun matchup. Let's read our info.txt. So, looks like A-Game has the pick first, then Houston grabs Conef, and A-Game's gonna grab College T for the map here. You know that there's always, like... Oh! He smoked the base runner before he retired! Yes! That is essential. Very good, Houston. Very good. He's beginning to believe. Anyway, this map here is always pretty good for, like, the late game potential of Conef, but, I feel like Coalition does fine on this map. Artillery's very happy in general. Don't really know if I favor either faction here. I just don't like playing Galzian into it. And one thing that you really have to know about is that the AAV rush is definitely potential on College Teeth. Very, very short rush distance, pretty favorable terrain for it. And you can see Houston is so prepared, he's already throwing missiles out there, so I like to see that. Just kind of letting his opponent know, hey man, I'm here, alright? Don't at me. So, you love to see it. Anyway, it is going to be that AAV rush from A-Game. Place your bets on the number of blast runs. Okay, now that is a good betting category. Although, yeah, the fact that the base runner is already retired does sort of make you worried a bit. Well, looks like Houston's getting a Sandskimmer fab set up here, but he does have ref mode on the way first. I really like to see what he's doing here, where he gets the ref mode, then immediately goes Sandskimmer fab. Now he can build salvagers, because if you get attacked, which he is, you really want to be ready to make some defense there. And in fact, it's a little bit sad timing. If he could have like canceled this salvager, that might even have been better. You see A-Game coming up with the AVs, kind of at a bit of a slow timing actually, but it's not terrible. Oh, missile from Houston, not quite gonna find its mark. Houston's pretty good at these, but it looks like A-Game pretty good at dodging too. He has taken 1 point of damage, so you know, that could make the difference. Indeed, here comes the Sandskimmer to fight this LAV, but there is a second LAV here, so Houston doesn't know about this probably, but he does actually want to back away a bit. Looks like this Sandskimmer is going to fall down, sadly. And it can't get up. Uh-oh, and he's kind of chasing too deep into here. A-Game's focus fire is still on the PC, though, so he's going to get away with this for now. Oh, that missile almost claims life, the LAV, but not quite. This one will go down, though. Here are the AVs, though, and we still don't have any tech for Houston. It looks like he's starting to float a bit. Focused a bit too much on the micro here. Yeah, okay, we do have railgun fab started, but at this point he's gonna need... he's gonna need carrier power 1. Oh, that's really good for him. That's really good for him. He gets quite a donk on this AV here. Yeah, he does have power 1 on the way, too. So, what I want to see... And by the way, A-Game is gonna expand off the back of this. That's very good of him. What I want to see is how much damage is A-Game going to be able to do. Denying the LDMs, that is actually damage, although it's not huge. But the question is, can he kill salvagers on the main base? You can see Houston really not interested in letting this denial go on. So he's going to move the carrier out. He does have ref mode, so he can do this. I like the move. Going to power up the weapons, too. Oh, that missile not quite going to find its mark here. The only problem with moving the carrier is that you do make the main base exposed, which is what A-Game is going to go for here. Yeah, it's kind of a little too close range to use any missiles, but the depth packs are good, actually. Wow, alright. Would be really nice to see him quick drop this guy, but it looks like he's not quite going to get away with that. Hey! Look at these missiles. This is insane, man. Wow, alright. So he gets away with only 1 loss there. He ended up building like a salvager for the second base already, so he's going to be feeling totally fine about that. And A-Game's going to expand too, but like still, that's not really much damage on Houston's side. I mean, I feel like if I was playing from his position here, I'd be feeling fairly confident about it. He does actually have an idle salvager here, but I'm sure I'll catch that in a moment. Alright, good, good. That was a pretty compelling hold here, and I think we're moving into a sort of an even mid-game. You see A-Game taking railgun fab here. Houston's always got to be worried about the threats of air, but I feel like he's not going to be in too much danger. And of course, as we know with our godlike caster vision, he's not actually going to be attacked by her anyway, but it is something that he has to be aware of. Houston's decrying his play is terrible, but I'm pretty impressed. That was not bad at all. Looks like he didn't catch the idle salve here, but maybe he'll find that eventually. I always like to just spam F3, like, constantly to check for those guys. I think that's a good habit to get into. It's more AVs being built here, but there are assault railguns to defend. Assault railguns can die to AVs, mind you. You do have to be careful about that, but generally speaking, that should be fine. By the way, Houston hasn't powered his healing, and yet his carrier is not taking damage. I don't know. Something must be bugged. Anyway, if you get the reference, you get the reference. Otherwise, I can't help you. Second PC starting for Houston now. And AGame, no interest in expanding to the third base. Looks like he really wants to attack with his railguns here. So, gonna build those and just send them out into the main. A joke about joke patch? Now that's pretty meta. That's pretty meta. As you can see, assault railgun's doing fine to ward this guy off. The question is, will he even get out at all? Looks like he will. But it's gonna start getting expensive for A-Game to poke in there. What Houston needs, by the way, A-Game with quite a few RUs here. What Houston needs really is like a couple of heavy railguns to block these guys. But A-Game with the AVs, he does still have the full field control, so Houston's not been able to see this yet. Ooh, you're thinking long term. Well, I would like that. Question is how long this goes on, though, eh? I'm gonna be marathon casting here, so we'll have to decide after it's done. Oh, it's honor guard tech. All right. Again, though, still no heavy railguns. He hasn't seen this guy yet. Actually, Houston really is vulnerable to air too. I mean, I'm kind of surprised that he didn't really worry about this at all, but we'll see what happens here, though. Smoke's honestly kind of favoring Houston here, I think, because it's gonna let the AVs get up close to the assault railguns without getting shot at. By you know, this railgun here that is not shooting at the assault railguns, but still, though, Houston doesn't have any heavy railguns. It's gonna be very hard to make this hold. Well, Houston's invested a lot into eco here, but I agree, his army is kind of paper thin. He really needs heavy railguns. That's what he needs to defend against this. And honestly, he'd probably be okay if he does. He might be banking the money for, like, honor guard tech too, but I don't know. Yeah, it's mysterious then. Nice hit against the railgun there. I feel like this is a big overreaction though. Your carrier can deal with this guy, and you need to not bring the salvages up here because they're gonna get attacked by the AVs on this side now. Uh-oh, this is starting to look pretty dire. He did kill the railgun though. I mean, these assault railguns are strong right now, but not strong enough to deal with this before all the salvagers die, I fear, which is just kind of what A-Game wants. Nice smokes getting set up too. Yes, Cookies is exactly right. I mean, even when an honor guard pops here, it's not gonna be very helpful at all if there's no army left, which there isn't, as a matter of fact. So, and now everything just kind of is gonna fall to pieces. Yeah, I agree with Just Carry's assessment, and that's a pity because I feel like Houston was actually holding quite well against A-Game for a while there, which is not something you often see. Just needed a better army composition, and I think that it came down to being unable to scout his opponent, which is just good on A-Game for positioning his AVs in a situation where, you know, assault railguns already existed to deal with them. Still managing to position them in a very nice situation where he could stop his opponent from scouting him. Anyway, obviously the game's not over yet, but I'm talking post-mortem because there's no coming back from this. We can just speed it up a bit. You can see A-Game actually gonna just kill him with AVs here, which is brutal. Shunt power into the hope system. Yes, yes. I like it. I think every carrier needs to have a hope system, to be honest. Could just say, like, this system does nothing, but it fills you with determination. Anyway. Well, A-Game is going to take game 1, and we'll jump into game 2 now. Yeah, we actually can do that in Joke Patch, can't we? I mean, we can't add a new system though, can we? So we'd have to like cannibalize one of the old ones. That'd be very sad. Well, game 2 here, gonna be Canyon Outpost, and you can see both players doing a 3-on-1 start with their economy. Houston smokes before he retires. That's essential. That's essential. And let's check the info to TXT. This is of course Houston's pick, but the factions have stayed the same. Yeah, I'm thinking range on Sablon Carrier is going to do the range for the missile system, and it's going to do accuracy for the railguns, right? That was our idea. But, oh, because it's Tuesday. Actually, this happens every Tuesday at 4 p.m. I don't know why. I mean, depends on your time zone, but... Yeah, Steam does some maintenance on, like, their servers, and then everyone gets disconnected. Ooh. By the way, I like this, the CU focus here for A-Game. It's actually going to delay his rec a bit that he started LAV Fab, but I'm sure he'll quick drop for it here in just a moment. Oh, there it is. So basically, he did 3-1 here, and then he built one on CUs, and then he built one on, well, CUs for the long distance spiner, and he pulled the RU salvager they had off because he doesn't need any more to get the support cruiser out. Anyway, for Houston, looks like it is going to be some kind of an aggro setup here. He's got his probe out here, though, does A-Game, so he's seen the PC out in a forward position, and you can see the way he's moving it. He clearly knows that something is going on. I like the attempt, though, but it is going to be tough just because A-Game is pretty good at this sort of stuff. But it's SC first, and he has all 8 salvagers set here, so I mean, this is... You know, as far as things go, this is the best potential. And you can see A-Game has already flipped one of his CU salvagers back onto RUs there, because he knows, yeah, I'm going to need tech to deal with this most likely. And he's got the money for AV Fab right now, but I doubt that's what he wants. He's probably going to be looking at Railgun Fab or carry production. We shall see, though. We shall see. And the probe has seen that something is up here. He's going to go back to the main base to check the tech. That's what you want to do, right? If you can see what your opponent's tech choice is, then you can make more informed decisions. And the probe isn't really going to do much over here after it determines that there is an attack coming. Like, that's kind of all it can do, so... Sees the carrier, sees the assault ship tech. A-Game knows what he's up against now. It is going to be Railgun Fab from him. And he's even being very, very respectful bringing the carrier over here. But at this point, I would take the support cruiser and bring it back over to the second base. Yeah, that is what he's going to do. And so he really wants to make sure he's, I mean, defending the rush, but also not losing that second base if it's possible. So, yeah, AS Tech is the box over on this side. This assault ship here looks like, you can tell with the armor break, it has gotten hit by the carrier's railgun just a bit. So far the damage just amounts to a bit of chip on this ALM here. And Houston actually going to build a base runner too, so that's kind of interesting. He's going to invest a little bit into this, which can be a big payout, especially with the blast drones, but it can also fall flat on its face, so we'll want to keep our eyes on that. Problem for Houston is that the railgun is already done. Well, I mean, not quite, but it's about to be. So the window for doing damage is going to be pretty ethereal here. Oh, the probe did go down, and it's to the base runner. Okay, I see the logic in that. Yeah, this is really good, especially if you're planning on going into a different tech. But I doubt that Houston will do that. I mean, he could go rails though, which would be interesting. That'd be kind of like a Sparrow-esque move, although Sparrow usually started with. Oh, the Sparrow's going kind of out of position here, actually. Oh, it's very out of position here. Uh-oh. All right, this is actually quite good for Houston. Oh dear. Yeah, that's really powerful. A-Game doing his best to micro that guy, but it just can't be done. And these, you know, these sand skimmers will die, of course, but that doesn't matter. He's gotten the value that he needed. Artifact being picked up too. And the sand skimmers are still alive. What? Okay, if they just ran this way, I think they would live. Oh my gosh. Looks like they're gonna attempt on the railgun here, which is unfortunate, but still, that was kind of funny how long they've managed to survive out in the corner there. Excuse me. And AV Fab gonna come out of A-Game. Given that he's just had a rail... Oh, he's gonna lose another one here, potentially. Oh my gosh, this is huge for Houston. Oh, it barely lives. Just like one shot away from dying right there. The assault ship probably will fall too for this, by the way. But it was definitely worth the attempt. If he could have gotten that railgun, that would have been big, big value right there. A-Game, by the way, floating quite a lot here. He actually has the money for railgun fab, but he's going to go back to ref mode, which is probably a wiser choice. Oh, this railgun again, it's out of position here. Yeah. Houston's going to zero in on it, so the railgun goes down now. This will lose him still one assault ship here, but now he's fighting against the LAVs pretty much only. This railgun here not really in position to get involved in the fight, so... Well, looks like the LAVs are actually trading pretty well. They just must have enough numbers here. Yeah, it looks like the rush is going to fizzle out though, but yeah, Houston has the ref mode set up. I really do wonder like what would happen if he got railgun tech instead there, but it's really, really risky to try that sort of thing, especially against like AGameAnx, you know? So, and yep, he's going to transition right into air, which I like to see. And A-Game for his part, going straight up to 3 base now. But there's going to be an extraction for Houston, which is always nice. Gives him a bit of carrier power, and generally you assume that there's going to be like a counterattack after something like this fails, so that is indeed important. Yeah, well, I mean, hey look, 0, 1, hard to debate that, alright? Hard to debate that. Assault ship in a nice position here, but it is going to have to watch out for the railguns, which will eventually cast it out. And Houston going to open up his second base location here. He does have ref mode finished. Whoa. Ooh. Barely manages to keep this assault ship alive here too. And this base runner here going to be annoyed by this LAV. That will actually eventually kill it. I mean, he can try and smoke and get out, but if he picks up this artifact, I think it's a death sentence, which he is going to do. That's a fine choice. He'll just kind of delay for some time over here, but I think maybe he could have kept the base runner alive by sending it back home. And as you can see, interceptors are on the queue. These LAVs are standing still, so they're just going to eat it. Ouch. The salvager, though, might eat it too. Ooh. Everyone's kind of a fan of standing still in this game. Yep, salvager does end up going down. But the air tech is here, so if he needs this to kill off the, railguns, he can use it, but I think this carrier is going to do just fine on its own. Actually, he's even teched power 1 here, so he can also have a power in the close combat weapons, which is nice. Artifact does go down, as you can hear it exploding gloriously in the background there. And this AV has seen better days. Oh, but it gets the kill. Oh, that's OP as heck. One of these Sandskivers can come finish him off if he needs to. Anyhow, the air tech is curious on Conf. It doesn't manage to get scouted, so he actually, like, A-Game doesn't necessarily know that air is here, but does he have the Celebrity Fab? Yeah, he does. Okay. He doesn't have any built, though, so I mean, you know, if air shows up, he's not gonna just, like, instantly die, but, that first hit will be powerful, I suppose. If I were Houston, though, I'd be launching immediately, though, because your opponent is going to build anti-air eventually. Like, you can't leave this in the hangar for too long. Veteran C means nothing in DOK. Anyway, here come the interceptors. Yeah, missile batteries are done already, but still, these interceptors may be able to find some good targets. We're gonna go for salvagers, which is what you like to see. Here's a missile battery, though. Oh, because of the way they chose to path, I think 2 of them are gonna die here. Oh gosh, that's unfortunate. No, there's no upgrades on the skins. Ooh, yeah, he gets 1 salvager for 2 interceptors. That's definitely not worth it. Yeah, well, that's the nice thing about going AV rail is you can just get the heavy vehicle armor upgrades, and the missile batteries are getting it too. That's a good feeling. No, I must agree. I must agree. Yeah, I like how A-Game is just setting up this really, like containment wall, you know? This is kind of fun to see. And I mean, Houston is really overreacting by pulling off the main base. This is a huge amount of money that he's losing, right? So, you know, A-Game, all he has to do to enforce this is just, like, sit here. That feels pretty good for him. Gonna push in on 2 flanks now. Looks like the Sandscaper is gonna get eviscerated over here right off the bat. This carrier cannot fight this. I mean, we saw that at the ending of last game, of course. Real question is what's going on this flank over here. Looks like some fairly good smoke micro from A-Game, but Houston might still end up be winning this one. I can't exactly tell, though. Interceptor gonna try to launch here, but of course there are missile batteries. Ooh. Ah, the missiles are nice, but not quite nice enough. They don't actually get any kills. Ah, yeah, good point. The rusty boys. Ah, that's just insult to injury. Adding, like, the mortars onto the bases, I love it. Houston will do it dead. Yeah, I have to agree with that synopsis. I have to agree. It's hard to see where this even happened. I mean, I think he just didn't spend enough, and then the air transition just kind of failed. He just launched way too late on it. But I mean, it feels like it's very sudden. Like, the game was in a fairly even state. His rush didn't do a huge amount, and then just he died. You know what I mean? It's kind of surprising. But oh. A-Game's kind of AFK dodging here too. Okay, there we go. The railgun scoop him down in the end. But again, like last game, this is sort of a done deal already. We just sort of have to wait for it to conclude. So let's go ahead and speed it up. We got a lot of games to go through today. He's actually kind of dying to AVs here, which is sort of funny. And yeah, that's the end. Well, thanks for watching, and let's jump into the next one.